Typhoon Juan made landfall before noon on Sunday.
Ramdam na ang epekto ng El Nino sa lahat ng bayan sa
In the Philippines, at least 70 people have died in floods caused by
millions of gallons of water pouring through the Swat Valley, a force of nature with no
Drought is
respect.
affecting many areas, but the high cost of food and fuel is
This is what it's like in downtown New Orleans right now.
Typhoon Katsana has killed at least 86 people in the Philippines and
It's supposed to be harvest season, but it isn't turning out the way farmers in the northern Philippines had hoped.
With expected changes in the climate system,
climate change is resulting in extreme weather events all over the world. Most vulnerable are those who depend on the weather for their livelihoods. In the southern Philippines, there is a collaborative project which aims to help farmers adapt to the changing climate. For centuries, the rhythm has remained the same. Farmers in the province of Agusan del Norte in northern Mindanao have sown the seeds and reaped the harvest. But for this generation of farmers, something is profoundly different.
Karon kung mag-init gid kaayo, mag-ulan pud ulan. Maura na akong naobserbahan gyud sukad pa sa una. Lahi na ba sa una gid nga ang init dili kaayo, ug mag-ulan murag labay lang ana.
Tong August, labi na ang August ting init gud na siya diri sa amo sa una. Pero karon sugod naman og ulan, August pa. Ang August sa una ting lampas, ting sunog sa basa sa uma nya karon baha-baha naman.
Early this year, major floods destroyed many of the province's farm fields as well as its harvests.
Kusog ang tubig adto. Kay sukad mi nga nagkuan diri sa among galingan kadto pa nga nagsulod gyud ang tubig. Nagabasa ang among stock nga humay hasta ang bugas. Ang damage nako adto is 25,000.
In the farming communities in southern Philippines, climate change is not only threatening harvest and productivity, but also lives and property. In 2003, the worst floods and landslides to hit the region in 25 years killed more than 200 people. While record flooding is becoming more common, extreme drought is happening elsewhere, a catastrophe for rice farmers dependent on rainfall.
Amo na ning gidaro para nga pag maabot ang ulan, kuan nami og similyahan. Pero wala man. Karon murag 1 month na kani siyang nagahi ni siya inaani 1 month. Wala joy ulan. Anay taligsik lang pero musamot man hinuon ana og nay taligsik mawa man hinuon ang tubig.
With these extreme weather conditions come other threats such as pests, causing more problems for farmers.
Mainit naman siguro sa bukid. Gipuyan nila dito. Nalugsong siguro ng mga ilaga diri sa patag. Karon pa ko nagproblema ng ako may sa hapit na mahurot.
Pag magtanom, pahubsan man nya og mag-uwan-uwan mo nang bisan unsa og pahubas, nagyoy tubig so ang kuhol mo gawas jud.
Most of the province's land is dedicated to agriculture. More than half of its population are poor farmers with limited resources, especially vulnerable to the effects of climate change.
Ang katawhan, mainanay, mawad-an sila sa pagkaon, hangtod mawad-an sila sa propiedad, nga dili na makapa-eskwela, makapa-edukar ng ilang mga anak. Daghan ang mamatay tungod kay dili makasagubang paggasto sa pagpahospital, way mahipalit ng medisina, daghan epekto nga mahimo sa mga katawhan din tungod sa klima.
Niwang ang atong daruhan, niwang atong basakan, ang pamilya pod nato niwang.
Funded by the government of Spain through the United Nations MDG Achievement Fund and implemented by the International Labour Organization, or ILO, a specialized agency of the United Nations, the Climate Change Adaptation Project, or CCAP, is working with farmers in developing and testing ideas to help them cope. It has strong support from the Departments of Trade and Industry and Labor and Employment, as well as provincial and municipal government units, local banks, community-based organizations, insurers, and others in the private sector groups are also targeted to be on board.
This project looks at both areas. It looks at the ability to help protect them, but it also looks at new ways and new approaches to improving their livelihoods, in terms of lifting themselves and their children out of poverty.
There are two objectives of this project. First is to develop and test financial safety nets for vulnerable population. The second, equally important objective of this project is to come up with our capacity development activities to support the farmers in the various areas of production, whether institutional, economical activities that they have.
Starting with information on new techniques to produce sustainable harvests and other possible income sources for farmers, making them less vulnerable to climate change, the CCAP includes testing schemes to give farmers easier access to financing, such as low-cost loans with less paperwork and lower collateral requirements.
The innovative financing scheme is in the sense that the LGU will be involved. So the LGU will maybe pour in some resources, some seed money, and then we are tying this up with the local financial institutions.
This is provided with training for farmers and their organizations to equip them with better skills, not only for their production, running their organizations, but also to manage the environment and protect themselves from climate hazards.
Mo naman ay among advocacy karon kung pwede mailisan ang mga similya nga musukol na og during the time sa flooding. Do na poy kuan sa amo humay nga musukol og drought.
Gusto namo nga moabot untay na dinhi sa among lungsod nga naami ko galingon nga maghimo og organic bitaw nga fertilizer. Takuntabang sa mong mag-uuma.
A most innovative component of CCAP is a micro-insurance scheme linked to weather extremes caused by climate change. Farmers usually lose some of their harvest in the normal cycle of rainy and dry seasons. But in times of record flooding or drought, the losses can be catastrophic for their crops and, in the end, to their families' health and well-being. Easier access to crop insurance, a package based on weather indexes that pays faster than the typical, can get farmers back to work more quickly, enhancing their productivity. This package not only protects their income and crop losses, but also provides for their other needs based on the Dole Social Amelioration Fund scheme. If the project works here in Agusan del Norte, it could help farmers all over the country affected by climate change.
The farmers in Agusan del Norte characterizes the farmers in general in the country. We can say that the models, the financial schemes, packages that we might be able to develop here and test here can actually be replicated easily in other parts of the country.
For the project to be sustainable, support from all sectors is crucial. Stakeholders need to understand that just like the meticulous process of farming, the project needs much time, effort, and perseverance before bearing fruit.
I think investors have to look beyond the short run. And if anything we've learned in the last 2 to 3 years is short-run profits lead to long-term suffering. And again, if we look at these projects, they're designed for sustainable growth. And again, they will yield good return on investment. Investors who look at this project through insurance, it is the right thing to do, not only in terms of societal needs, but also the right things to do in terms of business, because it will help move the country forward.
Kinahanglan gyud nga maminaw pud ta sa mga teknolohiya sa uban, dili kay sa ato lang kaugalingon. Kinahanglan gyud nga maminaw ta aron pud mo taas-taas pud atong kaalam. Nagpasalamat ko nga dunay seminar sa climate change kay aron mahibalo pud mi ug unsaon pagdala ang atong pangaan karon panginabuhi.
Here in the Philippines, when you say you are a farmer, people assume that you are poor. If they can uplift their lives, improve their plight, it will end the vicious cycle of poverty. So let's support the farmers so that they can have enough resources by their own to determine their future.
Though climate change disrupts the rhythm of farming, adaptation tools and techniques, as well as improved access to financial resources and training, empower farmers to create their own powerful rhythm, one that can help them reap the benefits of a sustainable future.